So I managed to come in actually under time, which is stunning, Kelly. She's very supportive. We maintain that I can talk an hour about almost anything, although I really try not to. But I'd be glad to take any questions since I got a little bit of time. Yes, sir.
The area immediately around the lakes was all within the city. It's all incorporated in the city. I direct this as the mayor. Would it be possible to pass the city ordinance in our fertilizer, which is on our grass? Do you think that could help?
Well, I think we got a little legal problem in the state of Iowa with respect to restricting fertilizer application. I think I'm not an attorney, but we've run into the city of Clear Lake ran into that as a pretty big issue because we don't want to limit the effectiveness of agriculture. We're quite careful not to legislate application rates. So it's quite tricky. What other cities have done is to work on voluntary programs that are, I think, often very effective. And also, just thinking to a couple other places that we're familiar with, there are sort of filtration systems and small ponding systems that you can install that are pretty cost effective.
This is what I was thinking there. I did a city ordinance to pass to stop the use of phosphorus in the city limits of Lakeview.
Well, anything that you can do that's inexpensive is a good thing to do.
We encourage everybody, after we had the last meeting, newsletter to not use the phosphorus rates. And I think Jacobson Seed in the hardware has that fertilizer on hand that doesn't have that. I guess we can do it again.
I know that.
I don't know if we can force anybody.
We've got a lot of fertilizer that comes from Walmart too that goes on our lawns, especially out around the campus out there.
Well, every pound of phosphorus is important for the lake, and it can have a big effect. If you've ever looked at Clear Lake, which is a pretty big lake, we calculated up the amount of phosphorus in that lake, and it's only about the weight of a small car. So it's really not that much that causes a real big problem. So every little bit, everything you can do as a citizen or as anybody doing anything in the watershed can really help. I mean, the goal has got to be something like 75%, and if you can save 1% in a cheap way, it's a good thing to do because it really will have an effect over time.
Jim at Clear Lake, I'm very familiar with that because I'm from that community. It was on a voluntary basis, but through education, we found that there is a very high level of cooperation when you provided a zero phosphorus fertilizer. In fact, we went out and did soil probes and showed residents that there was plenty of phosphorus to grow a nice green lawn without adding additional phosphorus to it. So you can accomplish this on a voluntary basis. They did it at Clear Lake where it's a very high level.
We already had a survey of the town lots. I haven't used it for 10 or 15 years. I've put phosphate long, but it's still high.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
On turbidity of water, does my speedboat propeller in a shallow lake equate to only a car?
That's a really great question. I mean, again, in other studies, what we've done is put up cameras and looked at people speeding and through shallow water, which has always been loads of fun. And you can actually see a resuspension from the boats, and especially wakeboarding can be problematic. If you jack up the boat like that, you're basically shooting a lot of pressure down into sediments. But what we did find was that as boats pass an area successively, kicking up a lot of sediment, that the sediment will sediment back down, but it always leaves a little trace of the phosphorus, so it tends to ratchet up nutrient concentrations. We tend to be pretty careful about boat traffic, especially in shallow systems, and we're in a shallow lake here. It's another community question. There are people who just gotta go fast in the shallow water, and so it can have an effect. But it's usually fairly short-lived, and the other good thing that policies about not picking up sediment do is increased sensitivity of people to the things that they do, to the way the lake works. And everything we do has some effect, and everything we do that's better has some positive effect. But we have kind of a long way to go here, and it's kind of a lot of stuff coming in. So, yeah. Anything else? I guess I'll be around. I'm not running off tonight to the debate. Not until June. Okay, there's another one. Anyway, so we're pretty safe. But I also wanted to introduce you to Kelly Poole, who actually has done most of this work, and I'm just basically the spokesperson. And Kelly's coordinated so much of this, and thank you very much, Kelly, for all that. Hey.
Thank you, Dr. Down. Don's going to talk next on fisheries. But yeah, the important part of the meeting that we're going to get to towards the end is where we try to figure out how we're going to address issues like you guys are bringing up. And we want your input. We've got just a ton of data that Dr. Downing's collected and some other folks. And the important part is, what do we do with that data and where do we go next? And it's not just ag land and it's not just urban area, but it's a combination of both that we've got to address. And so we'll ask you guys towards the end to help us figure that one out. And if you want to be involved, and over the next couple of months, we'll sort some of that.